juggling so many balls at the same time, like, and somehow you're expected to make it work flawlessly. In this video, I'm going to share my real life experience as a CEO, mom of 4, yeah, and wife, and the truth about balancing them all, man, all of that. I know what's on your mind, like, yeah, of course, it's not going to be easy, blah, blah, blah. That's what the route I'm going to go. So stay with me on the stream and let's go through these sessions, or rather, this session, especially if you're planning to start a business and you're a mom or you're a wife, and you're just imagining in your head, like, how am I going to put it all together, right? Please don't click away on this video to the end, and we'll be talking all about it. My name is Chisom Mutibaka, and this is Being Chisom, episode 15. Yes, this is a 30 days motivational video business series where I'm talking everything about how I built a multi-million naira company in Nigeria remotely in the last 15 years. And I've been sharing all of my journey from episode 1, and this is episode 15. If today is your first time, welcome. You're well landed. You have 14 more episodes to go catch up on, and then follow through to episode 30. It's been such an exciting time here. That's why I want you to go ahead and like this video and then subscribe right now so that you don't miss any more episodes and you don't miss any of the long form or short form videos that are also here always. On this channel, I talk everything about money, opportunities, and business, and I bet you it's up right your alley. You're not going to be able to miss out on anyone when you have consumed one. Yes, so I've been if you've been thinking like, oh, how am I going to juggle this? How am I going to do? Especially if you're a mom and you're above 40. Yes, I've been there. Or let's say I'm there. I'm there. And at 40 plus, I am a full-time entrepreneur. I'm a wife. And I'm a mom of 4. I actually became a mom of 4 somewhat of overnight. And I'm going to explain all of that. Yes, while it hasn't been easy, it's been a lot of lessons, and I'm willing to share. I'll be talking from my head, so as I remember the points, I'm going to put them out there. All right. Over the years, I've learned a lot of lessons. As a single woman, which was my life before I turned 40, as a single woman, there are certain ideas that I had in my mind. There are certain plans I had for my life. But turning 40 till now, I'm 44 actually, there are certain things I've also unlearned, I've also understood better, and there are certain things I've definitely told myself, yes girl, it was good you made up your mind about that. And I'm going to talk all about this in this video. All right, shall we dive in now? Yes. Okay, the reality is with a full-time job, and then registered my company like a year after or a few years after. Sorry about that. I was trying to build my publishing company on the side and some other companies. I had a partner. Then I got to a point where I didn't have a partner, and I had no full-time staff that I was paying salary, but I had staff. I worked late nights, combining 3 different jobs as a blogger, publisher, and of course a 9-to-5. But fast forward 9 years after I finally quit my 9-to-5 job to run my business full time, and I have mentioned how that even in those in the last 7 years that I started fully, there have been times where I felt like, girl, you should go get a job, I think, because you don't seem to be winging this thing properly, right? I've been all there, and sometimes when I'm thinking that I can't breathe, this thing is weighing them on me, yeah, boom, something else will just come up. Now, that was also my situation as a single woman. Then all of a sudden I got married. I mean, all of a sudden, in every sincerity, because see, I was 40th birthday. I was already 39 years, 6 months, 7 months gone, yes. So 5 months of my birthday, and Marriage showed up. Yes. So I got married at 39 months, 11 months, 39 years, 11 months. Everything happened within 4 years. And I became instantly a mom of four as well as a wife. The adjustment was real. I know you can imagine, right? The adjustment was like a crash course on a crash day, and yes, I became a mom of four by marriage and I became a wife. So life in the last 4 years, juggling this, then moving cities as well. I had to move cities twice. I was living in Abuja in Nigeria. I had to move to Owerri to take care of my parents. Then I had to move from Owerri to Uyo to join my husband. 3 movements. And how this affected my business as well, let me tell you all about that. Now, have you ever been in a place where you felt like, yes, I made a good decision, right? I feel so good about it. That is exactly how I felt. Remember when I told my story, I think in episode 2, when I mentioned how I went to register my company and I was fixated on I want to open to register a publishing, rather an editing and proofreading company, and CAC were like, we don't have that on our on our drop down. What we have is publishing. But even this service you're mentioning is so specialized that we are not even going to register it if you are not sure you can handle it. You must have to come from you must have a language or linguistic background degree to be able to get approval to register it. And for the first time, I'm like, oh yeah, girl, I felt so proud of myself that I was able to negotiate with my dad to allow me to study English and literary studies when I did. That was one of the moments in my life that I felt so proud of my decision. And then the second time getting married was another proud moment. Not the second, but another proud moment. Let me tell you many other proud moments in running my business. By the time I was living as a single woman in Maitama in Abuja between 2016 and 2019, yes, early 2019, I was running my office from my home because I had a free space. And one of my finest memories, I remember telling myself I want to be a work from home single woman. And I made up my mind and I said, this is the lifestyle I want. I mean, coming from already 9 years or so of being a blogger, an influencer, editing books for people, getting paid, still running my in 9 to 5. I had come to a point where I knew the difference between showing up at a workplace on the desk every day, doing some random things or not doing anything at all, but sitting down there watching the clock and being able to get things done at my time, inspired by my creativity. And I was telling myself that no, I was going to do this. This is the lifestyle I want. I want to be able to work flexible locations. I want my team to also be able to work flexible locations anywhere in the world, just delivering exceptional results from anywhere, right? And when I had to get married and move, it was one of the things I didn't think about twice. First of all, when I was going to go home to take care of my parents, it wasn't a problem because I'm like, my absence, yes, people might call me up to meet up with me and feel like, oh, you're out of town, right? That's the only thing. But thank God for phone calls and stuff. It never felt like it was different. Did I lose some things? A lot of invitations I would get, normally events, paid events. I mean, they started declining as I kept saying, oh, I'm not in town, not sure I'm coming back soon. In fact, I said that at that time, my email dried up, like all the invitations. If you lived in Abuja and you've been in the center of things, you know what I mean, right? There's always something happening. And when I was out of town and I kept my email dried up of invitations till date, and it was a good transition for me. I didn't feel bad about it because I was moving into something more demanding of my responsibility and all that. Anyway, so one of the challenges I faced, let me start with that, let me start with the reality. So moving cities again and knowing that I was running a company that people depended on, of course, a service-based company that helps people publish their book, edit and proofread, I knew that I was only going to make more family members in the publishing sector in the new city, because there are always creatives, writers, editors in every place. So I was excited about the new venture, even though it was a smaller city. I was excited, but at the same time, I was also so sure that I didn't want to go get married and then go look for a job, even though I knew that I was going to have heightened financial responsibilities to contribute as a spouse, right? But I was already in my mind like, I'm going to work double hard to build my company rather than seeking a job. And thankfully, that was also something that was welcomed by my spouse. So he didn't feel like, oh no, you should get a job. In fact, he felt like, again, this city where I moved to is not one of those places that you can get a job off the street and it will be well paid in that sense. So even if I wanted to go get a job, abandon my business or do it on the side, it wasn't in this city, right? So we came to that agreement. I was happy that, okay, my business was running. All I did was teach everybody around me my business, okay? And then I started doing it. Challenges. So my reality really is working out of home. Yes, my reality was working out of home. Please, if you're here, please like this video. Please like this video. That's the first thing you should do. Then talk to me in the comment section. Let me know where you're watching from, and I'll give you a shout out. Yeah, so we don't keep quiet here. We interact, right? Thank you so much. Please go ahead, like this video. And yes, thank you. Pro Gamer said I subbed and liked. Thank you so much. Please go ahead, like and subscribe if you're coming in, and I'm telling it all. Okay, so I settling into that. Then I got into the responsibility of trying to bond with my children. I mean, coming from single to being a mom of 4. I might not be able to exhaust describing how that feels, but I want to say that one of the things that made it not scary for me was, number one, I had peace about taking that decision of, taking that leap of marriage. Yeah. So that's number one thing that made it easy. Number two, I had understood that, especially the ages where the children were, we are very progressive. I mean, I had children of different generations. My oldest was going to be a teen, was a preteen, just about to become a teen. The other were in between, 8, 9, and then there was a baby, a toddler in that sense, who was, barely 3. So I had 3 generations of children, and so it was exciting for me, right? That was the reality. Another reality was that income was not, I wasn't sure how I was going to double up, but I knew that with my experience marketing online, selling online in the past years, a decade before, I knew a thing or two about, expansion, marketing, all that. So I was confident, even though I was also, winging it. I was trying to, get used to all of that. And then the challenges I faced, learning how to set boundaries between work and family, yes, is a real thing. And do I still battle it now? Yes. Because while I was working out of home, I had a home office as a single woman. It was different. We had meetings, everything there, collaboration, signed deals. It was different because it was my space and I could control it alone. So I knew how to set the boundaries, right? But working out of my matrimonial home, I could also I have my space. I have, like, where I'm seated is my, creative space, but I can't handle it alone. I can only negotiate. I can only negotiate to, like, okay, so I need some time to work, to do that, or when children are out to school and all that. So those boundaries, it also draws from the fact that sometimes I just felt like I was single again. Like, I need to be single again. I need to think. There's so much happening around me at the same time. Yeah, that also happened. So that's on the psychological level. And but okay, I'll get to the what. Then also managing my time. effectively without burning out is also a challenge, right? So managing my team, calling up meetings, I had to do I still do like long phone calls, meetings on the spot, delegating so that things don't get, things are not waiting on my table, right? In that sense. Yeah, those are some of the challenges of managing time, and in that sense. Also, another challenge I would say is sometimes a bit of mom guilt. That thing you feel like, if you've been a parent, you can tell, like you feel like, oh, I think I wish I'm doing so much more for my children, in that sense. And it's always tied to not just time. I mean, I have time in that sense because I'm present, not like I have time all the time, but I am present most times. So when they are home, most of the time with them, I'm everywhere with them. But like that, I need to make more income to be able to accommodate them. Now I have 2 plus 3, 2.5 teenagers right now, and a child. So it's more responsibility, it's more demanding, it's more like, oh my gosh, it's me getting into mid-age of parenting, almost a few years. So dealing with that mom guilt is there. Another thing is trying to also get my children into the space, into the entrepreneurship mindset. I think is one of my biggest passions, right? To get my children to where the privileges I didn't have. I didn't have the privilege of learning about business as a child. I didn't have the opportunity of even getting answers to my questions of how much is it and all that. It was like taboo topics. I don't know why, the other generation or some people, because I'm sure there are people in my generation that had parents who were more aware. So okay, so my parents did what they could do with what they knew. But just being able to understand life in numbers, in currencies, was not something I got even up to when I was in my early 20s. Crazy, right? And I'm very determined about not letting my children be that financial illiterate, till that age. So that's something I will I call it a challenge? I won't call it a challenge. I'll call it as one of the triumphs, right? For challenges. So if it's even exciting that I have people who could understand my business. So my children actually, create content, use AI to create powerful videos, edit videos, design, so write stories, come up with stories, so they already is like I have apprentices. Like it's easy for me to even delegate task in trying to teach in that sense. So now, so away from challenges, these are some of the gains for me, and the mindset shift that has happened to me that changed everything also affected my business. Now, because of my new status as a single woman who became instantly a mom in 4 months and a wife, I immediately had to switch my mindset from just getting by, just feeling content with little, to wanting more, to wanting to step out more, to feeling the shoes of married, interacting more with married people, in the sense of that, getting used to the whole idea that, oh, you're a big deal, you are your 40s now and everybody respects you, and then take advantage of that age respect, not in a bad way, but assuming the authority and all of that. One of the lessons that I've learned is that I cannot do everything alone, right? I used to be sort of a lone ranger. If you watched the other episode, you would have heard of how I said I was always afraid of delegation at some point. It was hard for me to say, oh, do this, do that, and all that. But getting married emphasized it for me, made me understand that I can't continue to do things. Some things that I have held on to, like, oh no, this part has to be for me. Nobody can get it as done. I learned that I couldn't do it alone. Thankfully, I have the support of my spouse. Almost everywhere with my spouse, really, right? I mean, to work, sometimes we are everywhere together. That has been a huge blessing as well. And again, because my husband is not entirely away from my industry. He's not in my industry at all. He's in real estate industry and construction, yes, but he's an artist. He's a creative. He's, so all that, the creative part of it ties to what I do. So it's easy for me to bounce off ideas. My designs got better. If you love my thumbnails, yes, that's what I mean. My designs got better also because of my husband. So many things, work processes, and some things that I was holding on to that wasn't necessary, I had to unlearn them. I had to remove some of the services, because if it's not bringing money, right, why are you holding on to it? So I had to adjust a lot of things and work with my team to make sure that we establish all of that. Sometimes as women, we feel like we can do everything, like we're superwoman. It's not superhuman, so superwoman, like handling business, kids, everything. We think that we can do it all alone without breaking a sweat. I tried it as a single woman, and I came down with near paralysis in 2015. So getting married, I was very conscious of burnout. And again, it comes back to who you get married to. I am so intentional. I think one of the proudest things for me is that the decision of who to marry is so important for every human being. Let me also for every woman, because when the idea I had about marriage as a single woman is the fulfillment I have as a married woman. So I don't have any regrets, like, oh my gosh, I wish I did this or that. So all of the weight of 39 years is eventually paid off. And I think that every entrepreneur, anybody who wants to achieve something great, needs to take their emotional and relationship life that intentionally. All of the idea of jumping into marriage because of biological clock or because of one thing, pressure, they are from our place, they are church people, they are from our religion, they are all of those things that are usually not core. If you want to drive anything that is successful, you must consider the fact that you cannot do marriage anyhow. And that's why you see a lot of successful people are either out of their marriage entirely, they are not married to anybody, right? Or they are in. Check. Anybody who has a successful business, a successful venture, has a marriage blueprint that is working for them and their spouse. And most of the time, they are in tandem with their spouses, or they are out of the marriage entirely and they are single, winging it how they wish, because there are no middle grounds. You can't build anything amazing from a point of view of mediocrity, emotionally, maritally, and that is something I must emphasize. So the delegation is power. Yes, delegation is power. I learned it, as a married woman. It was so important that I delegate. I started my home. I didn't want helps because I already felt cringy about it. Like, how do you bring strangers into your home? Like, guys, pardon me, I don't know. I grew up with helps, right? I grew up in a home where my mom always had one help or the other, but they didn't. It's not like they'll be doing stuff and you're not doing. So it was the kind of help that we also learned everything we needed to learn. My mom was practically, I guess, sending them to school, taking care of their families through them. So I had an idea of help that, if at all, I needed. When I mean help, I mean domestic staff now. So getting married was one of the things that my husband said, okay, so we need to get domestic staff. And I said, oh no, I won't be needing them. I won't be needing one. And that also was a decision that made me I had to double up on things to do, things. And thankfully in my home, we have we democratized chores and things. Not even because we had a conference about it and say, oh, let's let everybody be doing everything, right? It's just one of those things that I also saw in my husband before I got married and in the children that made me feel like, okay, I can take this leap. So which is why I said intentionality is very important. Intentionality is very, see. Some people think that, my list is too long. Some people tell you that, oh, your list is too long, you're looking for Jesus. Even my mom told me that you're looking for Jesus. There's no man who's like Jesus. No, I'm not looking for any Jesus. I'm not even looking for any perfect man. I wasn't looking for any perfect man. Perfect is even boring. Why would I marry a perfect man? Right? I just knew what I didn't want out of life. And one of my most prized qualities or things I yearn for is peace of mind. Peace of my creativity to be bubbling, to be boosted all the time, have an environment that is conducive. Like, do you understand? So I didn't want to get into a marriage that is warfare, or I'm second guessing somebody, or I'm peering into somebody's phone, or I'm suspicious about. So I don't want all those resentments. So even in the few relationships I had, when those things came up, like I couldn't trust this person for one thing, or begging for the love, I took a walk. When he paid me, when he didn't pay me, and all that. So maintaining that and finally getting married to somebody that gave me peace of mind is something that I think has helped my business a big deal. A lot of the time, the thing that also happened immediately I got married, change of name and all that, which I did intentionally. I chose to change my name. I chose to even take all my husband's names, right? Because that was how it came to my spirit. And even he was super like, really, are you serious? I said, yes, that's what I wanted. All of that was another tough time in my business because I had to change my IDs, my name. In fact, it felt like I started business afresh because I had built such a brand as well. Well, a baby brand, a baby celebrity brand with my former name, Jenny Chisholm. I had a blog, I was all of that. So when I changed my name, it was a big switch, a very big switch. I had people who felt they didn't find me anymore online. They were like, I don't know. It's like, I'm not following you anymore. I can't see your post. I did post about series of posts to try to explain, but I had to take all of those bullets. I had 2 books already authored in my name. I had to, make do with changing all of that, change my documentations. And let me tell you how it affected my business directly again. Some people who already knew me still call me by my old name. Of course, it's still my name, right? So I don't have a problem with that. But again, I couldn't travel. Let me tell you why. My international passport was the toughest thing to change. It took me 4 years. In fact, I don't know whether if you want a whole video on that, on this change of name thing, whether you should do it or not. Maybe if you want that video, let me know in the comment section and I can do another live stream on it entirely. But it took me 4 years, 4 years plus actually, to finally be able to get all my IDs in the same name. Like I said, the ups and downs, the details and integrity are things that I feel like gisting you. I want to gist you, but if I gist on this live stream, I won't be able to complete this episode, which is talking about my motherhood, my life, and my CEO. All right, okay. So it's just been 2 months that I have my IDs all matching. Yes, and I took the decision to change my name also in marriage, not because of just married woman thing, but because I was already in an identity crisis situation. I'm taking time to explain this so that you guys can just feel me, right? I mean, we are being real on this series. There's no holding back anything. Now, I was born Chisomazo Helen Uzamaka Opara. All right. Helen was my baptismal name, Catholic family, all that. In junior secondary school, I loved the name Jennifer. Oh my gosh, I loved it. The first time I heard the name, I fell in love. Oh my God. I told my mom, how could you have given me Helen? Why? What is Helen? I don't like it. And meanwhile, Helen is such a sweet name that I love it today. God of mercy. I love Helen today like crazy. But at that time, my 12-year-old sense and 13-year-old sense was like, no way. Jennifer would have been better. Why did you guys give me Helen? Oh my gosh, who bears Helen? What's that? And my mom was like, okay. My mom is quite permissive, almost like me. And she didn't say anything. She knew that I couldn't change it because, I was already going to school. How do you want to change your name? But this woman didn't know that she gave birth to a smart girl, right? So I was to change from my former school to another school for my senior secondary, which was Federal Government Girls College, Calabar. At the instant I was to fill my form to be admitted into that new school, I included Jennifer in my name, straight up. Do you know what I did? I added a hyphen to my Helen. I made it Helen Jennifer, then Chisom Opara. And that was the name I went to secondary school with, finished secondary school with. I had on my WIAC documents and every other document that I finally had. A bank account. Okay, when it came to bank, the name in university, let me put it like that, in university, when I use the name Helen Jennifer, many people will cut it off. Some will take Helen, some will take Jennifer. And I was like, oh gosh, please, it's one name. Please maintain the dash in the middle. Please, it's one name. But sometimes documents come out already with one name and the other abbreviated. So sometimes you see H, Jennifer, something, or Helen, J, Opera. And it was such a tough battle. So I confidently had documents that bore Helen, J, Chisom, Opera, H. Jennifer, Chisom, Opera. That had only Jennifer, Chisom, Opera. Then I started growing a brand much later in my 30s with Jenny Chisom, trying to bridge the name to be easy to pronounce as a blogger. And then I became very popular with Jenny Chisom. So most of my certifications later were having Jenny Chisom. I can imagine the hassle of name change. You took a very bold step. Yes, I did. I'm supposed to get an award for doing it. And in no time, in a space of 10 years, I have documents from Helen Jennifer to Helen Jennifer Chisom Opera to Jennifer Chisom Opera to Jenny Chisom Opera to Jenny Chisom alone to Head JC Opera. What? So I was in the middle of that whole crisis. But of course, I ensured that my main document, which like my international passport, majorly, I think it would only that had my full names because that was in my certificates, right? So I maintained it, but my bank accounts didn't have Helen. Other documents were just scattered like that. So when I was to get married, if you were myself, what would you do? And I was now going to change another name. Like, what is it? I was not going to change that name and add another name. And I asked myself, how is this going to be possible? Like, how am I going to combine the name? Is it Helen Jennifer Chisom Opera / hyphen Aka? How? Somebody help me. Or should I make it Jennifer Chisom Aka? Or should it be which? And I was thinking about it. I was like, my what they call it, my identity crisis came full circle. And I told myself, even before the wedding, I told myself, you are going to change your name, take your husband's names, however it's going to turn out is going to happen. And thankfully, I went to do my NIN just after our wedding, and NIN was easy to edit. There was no problem. I did all the documentation, affidavits, everything, newspaper, Then international passport became the last point. It became like, no, you need to go back. There's no reason. And I'll tell you all of that in another video, right? So let's, leave this point. That made me not to be able to travel. So my business would remain here. In that sense, it was just me. Not my business. Me. But I remain here because it did stop me from serving our clients who were still in the UK, who are in the US. We still serve them, right? But if I had any reason, maybe my clients were in trouble, my clients wanted to see me, I couldn't travel. I remember one of my friends asking me, there was supposed to be a conference in Rwanda in 2023, and he was like, oh, sure, you have passport, I'm trying to get people who are going to travel for this trip. And I'm like, no, I don't have. I'm sure he was disappointed, like, what? You don't have an international passport? At my status, he didn't know what I was going through that time. That was the time that Abuja people were telling me, you need to book appointment, we need to check whether it's possible, we need to know, we are not sure, we need to do some background check, and I was almost like, this is the end. This might take a lot of time before I'm able to get this fixed, because again, I was also changing all my names. All of those details, I can give you later. Now, part of changing my identity to this new name became something that was my consciousness. Like, you're a new person. I had to sit down and rebrand. Have you seen my logo on this channel? I had to sit down and rebrand. I had to, I had to archive my blog, janetisom.com, not because of my name change. I could have gone ahead with it, but also I was just at that point where I was rethinking everything I was doing. I was trying to be sure that what I was going up financially, because now I have a lot of responsibilities. 4 children. 4. So that happened, and I had to slow down a bit. I had to leave social media a bit. I had to make some adjustment, thinking through, rebalancing. It has been so amazing. Everything changed. Everything has changed. And when it comes to my business, I realized that it's okay to ask for help. Within that time, I was able to strengthen my editor's hub. My editing team, we have very super creative people, very supportive, we've had a lot of down times together, a lot of up times together. A team of 3 who run the hub. We have been able to succeed at that, at least bonding our friendship, in looking out for each other and each other's businesses. And I realized that success doesn't mean being busy 24/7. Because in 2022, sometime in 2022, I became very ill, and it became very important that I pay attention to my health. So I also took that step to show up online like I'm doing now, show up online, do what I gotta do, delegate and rest. Yes. And so I would say it's been strategic, more of being strategic about my person, who I'm working with and all that. Because marriage and family also deserves the level of intentionality I have given business in my 30s, and that became very, very obvious. I am trying to break into the cycle of a new city, get my business to be known by other people, and all that was also some of the things I had to do. Now, how do I balance it all? I would say I have a good support system at home. My husband, my children are of age now. They can handle so many other things. I have taught them to cook. I've taught them to do many things. And because we cook, my husband cooks. My husband teaches me some recipes. I teach others some, the ones I know. So we just have like a bevy house of, everybody busy doing one thing or the other. That has helped my mental health a great deal. In fact, when I hear people complaining about, this, that, certain wife issues online, I just silently pray for them, because I really can't relate. Glory be to God, I really cannot relate. So some of the strategies I think have helped me, in balancing it. I would say time blocking time out for the things I want to do. Like tonight, I have some deadlines I need to work on. When the children are sleeping and I'm not getting a lot of inquiries, mommy this, mommy that, mommy what should I do? I use that to work, right? When everybody's busy, I delegate. When it's morning or afternoon, or everybody's busy, so that they can channel their energy to the right things. I make sure that the energy goes to the right things. Okay, so you do this, you cut this, you chop this, you put this one on fire, you do this, so that the energy will be dissipated. That way, everybody's busy, and some things are done without me being there. So I've been that, for a while, and it's been working really fine, And so I schedule everything: work, family time, date night. Not like in that strict sense. Did I say date night? Date nights has been very, very, very little than minute. I need to do better with my husband in that, and I hope he's hearing me. Date night has been very sparse, even though our dates has been more of daytime, afternoon time, and our dates are every time, because actually we are always together. We have favorite shawarma joints, favorite restaurants. We are restaurant hoppers. we do the things that make us happy, right? Within the luxury within our salary that we can spend outside taking care of children. Because sometimes we realize that children can become such a focus that you lose yourself in marriage. I know how many times I had to beg my husband to just allow me buy some things for him, like as simple as change this. Like, oh my gosh, if you buy, could I use that to buy this child? Oh, this child, and I'm like, so it's not just me at all. Sometimes people think it's women who lose themselves in marriage. It's both ways. There are some people's husbands who have never changed a shirt in 13 years, and I'm not joking. There are people's husbands who have not bought anything for themselves and eating it alone. Yes. Well, sometimes we say, okay, maybe, it depends. So I take those things very care. Self-care, while I haven't maximized self-care as I used to when I was single, I must be very honest. Self-care is something I'm very focused on doing, and major weeks and months go by. By self-care, I mean taking out time to travel, because travel, please like this video, guys, like this video, like, share this video for someone who loves to hear this, and also subscribe, okay? Travel is something that is on my one list that I haven't done. So finally, 2 months now, since December, I got my passport, and I'm so ready to travel, right? I'm so ready to travel the world. And that's number one self-care for me. Then, of course, drink water and mind my business. I'm very good at minding my business normally, so I have to drink more water now to match it. Also, one of the things I also do is yes, I want to go on more date night. Actually, I haven't done a honeymoon since I got married. My children have been cajoling me with like, mommy, okay, so when we go out, when we go for this holiday, you and daddy cannot do your honeymoon. I said, no, that's not honeymoon. Nobody can cajole me into low standard mediocrity honeymoon. My marriage will be 5 years in June. No honeymoon yet. So I know that honeymoon is going to come, and it's going to come with a banger. It's going to come, with a banger. So that's part of what you get when you become mom and wife at the same time. If God is asking you not to do it, if God is say don't do it too, because if you like honeymoon too much, you might not be able to enjoy that kind of marriage. Anyway, I digress. Joking. All right, so I delegate and delegate both for my team. Like, even recently we have had to reschedule our editor's hub, like move it up to give more value. But certain things, health-wise, and some people in the team are not really up to that, to handle some responsibility. So we are keeping it on the low until things can naturally happen. So I'm not pushing anything, just taking things as it comes, step by step. Another thing that I do to succeed is communication, of course. Communicating with my husband in particular, communicating with people that matter, and also excommunicating many people. Yes, I excommunicated a lot of people between 2022, 2023, when I started having time, when it was obvious that I needed time to put my mental health together, because I also went from a mom of 4 who was almost going crazy. Oh my gosh, pick this up. Who bought this water now? I used to be the screaming mom in the first 2 years of my marriage. Let's say maybe 3 years. Especially the first 2 years. Sometimes I'm like, I'm tired. Yeah. So it came to a point where I had to tell myself that, girl, you have to model motherhood the way you want your children to see it, and the way you want them to enjoy seeing it. Because see, when you are happy as a mom or a dad, your children are happy. When you're happy and you do things for yourself, you pamper yourself, take yourself seriously, as well as you take your family seriously, you're also teaching them to take themselves and prioritize themselves in future, right? So I started, giving myself the counsel I usually would give other people, and I said, you have to be a better mom, you have to calm down, they are children, after the Bible even said foolishness is bound in the heart. In fact, that is one of the favorite places in our home now. Foolishness is bound in the heart of the children. But see, you're growing up, so you're supposed to be dropping foolishness, and everybody agrees that, yeah, mommy, don't worry, we are getting better, okay? And then we are happy, we are going. Sometimes I still get angry and very furious, but I now instruct. I've tried though, guys. I have tried. Being a mom of teenagers, and I have to be talking, have to be counseling, coaching, move away from too much shouting. Not easy, right? And oh my gosh. So yes, I had to excommunicate some people, sometimes family members as well. Anything that looks like a threat to my mental health, I had to remove it intentionally. It started unconsciously, like when I see the calls, I'm like, oh my God, not again. I don't know what the person is going to say now that can mess. And then it got a point of, there's no need complaining. Just ignore the call. Yeah. Yes, I'm blessed. Africa does and bit. I am. I won't even deny any of the blessings of the Lord. Not one. Not one. So, yes, so I decided to make a conscious effort that if I feel threatened about something, naturally, I'm not somebody who gives into phone calls. It gives me anxiety. So when phone calls or chats or things come that are not, I just ignore. So I've been able to block away certain people. So I get into people's lives when I know they want it, and when a moment is also convenient for me. This is, I'm saying, you may not be able to understand, but just like how all of us in life, we don't even know what we are doing, but we are moving on, all the same, living the life, right? Now, I also understood that burning out is something that happens if we don't prioritize properly. I have had deadlines. I have had more deadlines married than when I was single, truly. And I was almost paralyzed as a single woman. But what makes it worth it again is support. So I've had deadlines where, because you can now collaborate, you can think, you have other people who can help you. You hit it up, and you don't disappoint, because somehow you have a team, you have people who have your back, right? So I also know that if I'm burnt out, if I feel low, if I'm not up to date, if I'm not healthy, my family will also feel it, because they will feel like, oh, mommy is just, there are periods of time that I just lie down most of the time, always in pain. I've gone through that. I've gone all through that, guys. And you don't even want to know where I am right now, but you know how life is. Not the same way you're going through stuff. We all are going through stuff, right? And you are either going through a particular kind of stuff, and another person is coming out from that same kind of stuff, or another person is about to get into that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? We all share this humanity, we all share it. So none of us is exempt from the challenges of life, but we do it all the same, right? So balancing being a mom, and now I'm also very conscious of my age. In fact, even if I don't want to be conscious, the age is conscious of me. How do I mean? There's certain things I realized that I used to do before. Up till I was 40, I used to feel like I was 16 in my mind, or maybe 21, because there's certain things I just didn't think were bothering me. Up to when I didn't even used to keep track of my menstrual cycle, for instance. I didn't used to keep all those things. I didn't used to bother about, I could jump, I could do anything. But getting into my 40s changed all of that too. I get to realize that I couldn't do certain things again. I couldn't just jump up without one pain there. I became slower. Sometimes you say, get up, in my mind, get up, Jenny. Get up, you're not a python. And I'm like, how did I get here? I used to be a very active girl, So age can be very, very, very telling, right? So balancing that as well, and being a new mom in my 40s, is a total ball game altogether. It's a journey, not a destination. I haven't even scratched it. I haven't gotten there yet. I don't even think I know what I'm doing. I'm just living, loving, relaxing, enjoying it, doing what I can do. Some days, of course, it's very overwhelming, balancing all of these three. Especially because my husband always used to say, sometimes you can go without touching me, right? And I used to think I was like a lovey-dovey person until I got married, guys. So don't think you know yourself until you get married. If you're single listening to me, don't believe yourself totally until you get married, okay? Yes. So other days it can be beautiful. In fact, most days is beautiful, and it has nothing to even do with how much money you have, what you've eaten. Just the sheer bliss of openness, being vulnerable, being with family that loves you and you love them. Through it all, I've learned that we don't have to do it alone, and that life is continuous. And I've also been able to scale my business better since I got married, get into new markets, right? Serve CEOs, academics, things I was so afraid of doing, back in the days. I stepped into that market as a married woman in the last 4 years. And I don't know if this resonates with you in any way, but that's how I'm able to manage all of this. If you have questions, as usual, to help me to expand more, let me take questions before we wrap up. Is there any specific thing you want to know about my life, marriage, being a CEO, being a mom? Let me know. If you have questions like, oh, so how old are your children? My first is 16. Wait, he's going to be 16 on the 23rd, like, so a few days to come. The second is 13, going to be 14 soon. The third is 12, going to be 13. And the fourth is 7, going to be 8. If another question you want to ask me is, how did you get them, right? My husband was married before, lost his spouse. Now, how many years ago now? 7 years ago now, almost 8 years. Yes, 7. They're going to 8 years now. So we were married in the 3rd year after he lost his wife, and he had a baby who was just 13 days old when her mom passed. So I had a baby when I came. That baby is grown now. I wish she was awake. Anyway, you guys should have known her now. You know her. She's a content creator now. She's amazing. She's a love bug. She will finish you with love. Hey gosh, she's a bubbly, fine girl, in doing well and all that. So this is me preempting the questions you want to ask me. If you have any other questions for me, ask me. Even if I'm out of life, I will answer them. So any questions you have for me about how I'm managing being a mom, being a CEO, being a wife, ask me right now before we wrap up. Yes, I hope I have been able to ginger you, to give you some behind the scenes into the head, the CEO of Logos Audibles, and the brain behind this channel, right? Ask me any questions right now as we wrap up, and I'll answer them as frankly as you want me to answer them. So I'm waiting for you. Please like this video. And please share and subscribe to the channel. I just hope that as I go offline and go check my subscription, I'm going to see amazing new people in my family. This is Chi Money Gang. Here we talk about money, opportunities, and business. Go check out my over 170 videos. You will find videos that will blow your mind. Please go binge watch my videos and please support me. Share my channel with someone else who would also would like to learn about business, about money, and ask them to watch my videos and then subscribe as well. African Tales is asking a question. How are you coping with the instant big family? I'm coping, like I said. I'm taking it as a blessing. In fact, that was the first inkling before I decided to get married to my husband. Like, okay, let me give a bit of a backstory. Before I got married to my husband, he had proposed to me 6 months before that time. About 3 months after my 39th birthday, he proposed to me and said, oh, he was ready to get married again. And I'm like, I just didn't see myself as somebody who was befitting to take care of 4 children. Like, I felt I haven't given birth to one before, never been pregnant, didn't even know anything apart from taking care of my siblings when I was a teenager. I didn't think I had what it took to be able to take care of children and be their mom, and I was so conscious of the fact that you can't replace a mom, right? You can only take care of the children, you can only make them yours, but you can't replace their mom. And I felt, no, I won't be able to. Just let me find you someone, just stop asking me. And I went to town to look for a fine girl for him, because he was my friend. And anytime I send a WhatsApp message, he'll pop up on my phone and remind me that he's still waiting and all that. And I was just like, no. So I got him a very fine, sweet lady, but he didn't want it. He and the lady, they were in 2 different cities though. He and the lady came back to me differently to tell me that no, they really like each other, they think they're good human beings, and all that, but that is really me that it should be, not her. I'm like, seriously? You're not even ready. African Tales and Beans, are you hearing my story? You are saying you're not even ready. And I forgot all about him. And of course, I turned down his proposal and went and continued my life. That was September. By February of the next year, he kept asking me again. This time, God told me. At least this was one of the things I knew that I can say God told me. All of the things I saw as danger, as fear, like, oh my God, how am I going to start? Fortunately, no, I beg, I don't want. I started to see them as blessings. And that's how I've been winging it all the way. Blessings, that God has so blessed me. That at 44, I have a 16-year-old. That's the way I see it. I don't see it as, oh my gosh, I haven't even given birth to my own children. And see, I'm so tied down, taking care of these children, thinking, spending, blah, blah, blah. That's not the way I see it. So that's how, yes, the transition. That's how I cope with my instant big family. And the fact that people hands doing different things is lovely. I didn't need to bring strangers to my home, help to do anything. My children can practically do everything. They can take care of the home. They can, in fact, they have a lot of surprise for us. When they are, So that's why I've been coping, taking them as a blessing, and that's what it has been. Yeah. Any more questions for me? If no more questions, we can wrap up. We're almost at the 1 hour mark, which is amazing. This story was really, I can see. I was thinking I would just do like 30 minutes and go, but you guys have been able to make me to keep talking till now. So let me say thank you as well. I'll be taking questions even off live. And anytime you drop your question for me, I'm going to be answering them. So go ahead and ask away. Thank you for joining me in the 15th episode of Being Chisom. Tomorrow, same time, 9 p.m. Nigerian time. Lagos time, we'll be right here again talking about another aspect of my personal life in relation to my business and everything I do. All right, thank you African Tales, thank you everyone who joined the stream. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Please go right now, check out my playlist, go to the playlist you love the most, and please go ahead and watch my videos, support your girl, share my playlist with your friends and your loved ones. And yes, we are enrolling for Editors Business School, which is a business school online for 1 year that helps people who want to become editors learn the ropes of English grammar, the business, the setup, and everything they need to set up their editing business. If you're keen about it, check the description and you're going to find our email address. Reach out and we're going to furnish you with all the details to join. We have a cohort starting by March. So March this year to February 2026 is when the program will be holding. In that program, you're going to have 2 online courses that will blow your mind and show you everything you need to set up your business profitably, right? And they are from my experience. No, they are not from other people's experience, from my experience. And you need to be in that class or share with somebody who you know should be there. You can also sponsor somebody to attend as well, okay? And all our programs and everything that we do will be in the comment section. If you've been wondering how to write your book because you don't really have the time, this is the best time for you to reach out and work with my company, Logos Audibles, and we'll help you to bring it to life. Quality prints, quality publishing, quality editing, quality thoughts, concepts, transcription, and everything in between. We'll do all of that, so you can rest assured that you will be in good hands. All right, so like I said, see you tomorrow, same time, 9 p.m. Lagos time tomorrow. Cheers.